All right, here we go. All right, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. Let's see. This will be a quick live. Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Okay, so this live will stay up. This was not planned. There is this podcast that I was listening to. I'm not sure. Hey, Robbie, how are you? I'm not sure if this is on YouTube or not. I haven't really searched for it. So I'm going to play it here, just add some comments to it, I guess, from my end about what I think, and then I'll close this down. So this, I believe, was August the 22nd. This was the day after they found Kiely, and they had, let's see, who was it? I believe it was Doug Bishop. Yes, Doug Bishop from Adventures with Purpose. He was on sidebar Long and Prime to discuss what happened and what he saw that day. I'm not sure if I'll get a strike on this. I'm not going to monetize this live, so we'll just discuss. Yeah, okay, let's keep going.
Are with a volunteer group called Adventures with Purpose.
Now, let me know if you could hear that, please.
And their questions about what they found. I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to this latest edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. Well, these dive.
Hey, White Rain. Can you guys hear that audio? Let me know. I'll put the link down to this after we're done chatting. It's low sounding? Okay. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do about that volume, but I can mute myself. Okay. I'll mute myself, and then I'll pause it. Okay. Hey, Ranch Boss.
Are with a volunteer group called Adventures with Purpose. And we spoke with them after they found the vehicle. And they did this after searching the Prosser Creek Reservoir in Nevada County, California for less than an hour. It's absolutely amazing. They used sonar to locate the vehicle, and this was found in a place that had been searched by law enforcement in the weeks prior. And Kiely Rodni, as you know, had gone missing. She had told her mother she was coming home.
Okay, so for me, the interesting part of this podcast is actually towards the end of it. So we're gonna hear some details that we already know. What I believe is important is these little. I believe Doug gives us small hints of what he believes and what law enforcement probably has confirmed with him. So that's where I'm getting at with this.
From this graduation party, and then she vanished. So joining me to talk about this is Doug Bishop. He is with Adventures with Purpose. He is their lead diver and lead investigator. Doug, welcome back to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me back.
Doug, I know that you guys put out a video recently in which you said, we think that this is suspicious. So tell me what you believe is suspicious about what you found.
Hey, Crosshatch, how are you doing? Now, remember, this is a day after. So everything is fresh. They don't have all the information. There are no, we have nothing. So that's where Doug is coming from.
I mean, let's just start at the beginning. We're talking about a 16-year-old that just graduated, highly intelligent, possibly on her way to med school, disappears from a party of upwards of 400 children and ends up being found, several hundred yards away. That in itself is completely alarming, and nobody saw anything. Take into consideration the area where her vehicle was found is not a wrong turn road. We're talking about a very beautifully paved road that leads in and out of this campground that she was extremely familiar with. And where her vehicle ended up was on a very hard, sharp left turn onto a dirt road that is rough. It is extremely rough. The ruts in this road, I mean, it literally takes you have to have a 4-wheel drive vehicle to get down this road. There's no mistaking it. Once you are put onto this road, you know exactly where you're at. You're on the wrong path. So the fact that the vehicle ended up where it is, completely suspicious. There's a lot of ifs in regards to where she was located within the vehicle being suspicious as well, which I find suspicious. The whole thing just doesn't add up. There's a 16-year-old just doesn't disappear with that many people around and nobody knowing anything and no one willing to talk. It's a huge red flag.
All right, so we've had that conversation. Again, this is the day after. So I'm going to rewind that part, and I really want you to pay attention to how he describes the road and the path, because remember, they were there. And I believe Doug Bishop, I believe him with my whole heart. I don't think that he or Nick have an agenda regarding Kylie Rodni. I just really, they're just doing their job. So I'm going to rewind that part again and listen to his voice and how he speaks about it and the description of the road.
No mistaking it. Sharp left sound disappears from a park.
That this is
Here we go.
suspicious. So tell me what you believe is suspicious about what you found.
I mean, let's just start at the beginning. We're talking about a 16-year-old that just graduated, highly intelligent, possibly on her way to med school, disappears from a party of upwards of 400 children and ends up being found, several hundred yards away. That in itself is completely alarming, and nobody saw anything. Take into consideration the area where her vehicle was found is not a wrong turn road. We're talking about a very beautifully paved road that leads in and out of this campground that she was extremely familiar with. And where her vehicle ended up was on a very hard, sharp left turn onto a dirt road that is rough. It is extremely rough. The ruts in this road, I mean, it literally takes you have to have a 4-wheel drive vehicle to get down this road. There's no mistaking it. Once you are put onto this road, you know exactly where you're at. You're on the wrong path. So the fact that the vehicle ended up where it is, completely suspicious. There's a lot of ifs in regards to where she was located within the vehicle being suspicious as well, which I find suspicious. The whole thing just doesn't add up. There's a 16-year-old just doesn't disappear with that many people around and nobody knowing anything and no one willing to talk. It's a huge red flag.
Is you could and you could hear it in his voice. He's just frustrated because he's already expecting, in my opinion, at this point, that it's going to be ruled an accident and the town is going to want to move on. A question that I would like to ask him though is like what his opinions are of trucking and the vibe of trucking and law enforcement. I mean, of course, he's not going to say it out loud because, he has to have a good relationship with law enforcement to, for future search and rescue efforts. And so I know that, that you cannot burn that bridge. However, I am curious as to like his personal opinion of this place and this town. Will we ever know? Probably not, but just something interesting. Something interesting. Hey, Miss Shan, how are you? Hey, Miss Crane, how are you? Spun that girl. There is a commercial here, so I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna fast forward it through that part.
American Scandal is a podcast whistleblower or a traitor.
Whether or not it was
There we go.
her that
By joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app. Is it your understanding that she did text her mom that she would be home and she went on her way home from the party?
That we do know happened. Whether or not it was her that texted her mother, I don't know.
You see, where did the speculation really come from at the beginning? Because this is the day after Kylie was found. They're asking him if they believe, like if they're asking him if they know that text happened, and he's saying yes. So it has been confirmed, right? I know many of us. Well, but I believe, this is my opinion on this. There are many people that believe that maybe the text didn't even happen, right? We have three tiers here. That the text never happened, that the text did happen, but it wasn't her, and the text did happen, and it was her, and she was super drunk. Okay, so we have those three opinions. So this is what he says about that.
There's a lot of people that
Your understanding that she did text her mom that she would be home and she went on her way home from the party?
That we do know happened. Whether or not it was her that texted her mother, I don't know. There's a lot of people that are saying, this could be just an accident, which It very well could be an accident. However, this isn't an accident scenario per se. If you want to take into consideration that she did text her mom that she didn't misspell anything, she texted very legibly. So and then she disappears right after. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily fall in line with somebody who's inebriated enough to make such a drastic, devastating wrong turn and end up in a reservoir.
Well, there
See, I believe that he says this so well. I've tried to say this, but in my own words, and it doesn't come across as clear as he's saying it because he's right. If she was so inebriated that she couldn't tell she was going into the water, or at least not on a paved road anymore, because at the beginning of this, he describes the path to the water, perfectly paved road, and then into road, or it's not even road. It's just it's just like rock and sand to get into the water. If she was so drunk, then she wouldn't have been able to even text her mom as legibly as she did. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have one or the other. I mean, but then again, you have autocorrect. Your phone does autocorrect the crap out of stuff, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't know, just something to put out there.
there was some discussion that she was a graduation party with younger people. There were a couple hundred people there, I guess, at least. And there was some discussion that she was intoxicated. So, I mean, it is entirely possible that she maybe took a wrong turn. We just don't know at this point. Have you learned any information at all that leads you to believe, yes, indeed, this was a suspicious disappearance? Have you learned anything from law enforcement?
As far as that goes, I can't disclose that. It's still an ongoing FBI investigation.
Okay, so again, August the 21st, he's saying this is still an ongoing FBI investigation. What I want to know, I'm well, Liaison, how are you? What I want to know is if that case is closed. Is there anywhere we can look to check if it's closed? I mean, is that public information when a FBI case is closed? I'm genuinely asking. I don't know this, but you know what? That's a good topic for me to research. So I'm going to rewind it to 15 seconds.
You learned any information at all that leads you to believe, yes, indeed, this was a suspicious disappearance? Have you learned anything from law enforcement?
As far as that goes, I can't disclose that. It's still an ongoing FBI investigation. CHP is involved, as well as Nevada County, Placer County Sheriff's Department. There's certain things that I can't discuss, and I can say based on what I know, it's extremely suspicious. Extremely.
Tell me what you saw when you found the vehicle.
Okay, and if allegedly the case is closed through the sheriff's department, can Doug speak on the information that he knew then that he couldn't speak about? Like, can he speak on it now since the case is allegedly closed? Well, I mean, I can't say allegedly because the sheriff's paperwork says like it's closed. Sheriff though. So can he speak on the details he knows through that channel? I'm gonna rewind it again 15 seconds.
Ongoing FBI investigation. CHP is involved, as well as Nevada County, Placer County Sheriff's Department. There's certain things that I can't discuss, and I can say based on what I know, it's extremely suspicious. Extremely.
Tell me what you saw when you found the vehicle. I've covered cases where vehicles have gone into the water and they start taking on water and they sink. And
Yeah.
oftentimes people panic and they try to escape any way they can. Tell me what you saw that leads you to believe there were some suspicious things going on here.
As far as particulars, again, there's certain things that I cannot say. With the way her vehicle was found upside down, I would say that falls in line with a lot of the vehicles that we find underwater. It is common for individuals to end up in the back seat, not necessarily in the back hatch area. So that's a red flag to me. Now, does that mean anything? It doesn't. It's possible in trying to get out. But we're also talking about a window that was out and another window that was halfway down as well already. And she's tiny enough to even fit out a half of a window. So I personally do not believe that this was just an accident, although it very well could be.
Right.
So I really like how impartial he is. He's giving his opinion, but then he wants to stay on the safe side and say, but is it possible? Yes. I do appreciate here how he's a little bit more comfortable speaking on his personal opinion.
Very well could be. It's my understanding she was found in the back seat of the vehicle and that one window was apparently allegedly busted out, one was partway down.
Mhm.
Is that what you guys found?
No, no. The window is the window being out and the window being halfway down. Yes. In the back seat, no. In the back trunk cargo area, yes. She was not in the back seat, but in the back cargo area.
Okay, so you're saying that Kylie's body was found in the back cargo area of the vehicle. Did that area appear to be open from the back seat? Because this is basically a small SUV.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible to crawl back. Are you gonna crawl back there and not choose the window that's open or the window that's halfway open already? That doesn't seem logical to happen in that scenario. But who knows? I mean, there's no exact science to what a car does when it goes into the water and how it reacts to the water, the twisting and turning upside down, the nose diving because of the engine weight. Every car acts differently. I can tell you that with a car with a window out and a window half down, sinks extremely fast. To
So he says window out. Is he alluding to the window being busted before the car went into the water? Is that it sounds like that, but I mean we've seen the footage. I don't want to confuse anybody, so I'm not gonna like keep talking about that part. But he says the window's out. Is that just what they're? Are they just remembering when the car was pulled out and that window was out? But you have to remember also when a car goes in the water and the water's rushing in and their windows open, I would think it would be difficult to get out of the window if there's water rushing in. Hey Tracy, how are you?
make it from there's no time to react, no time. So for
Because it
her
takes
to
on
end,
too much water. Yeah.
you're talking about seconds, not minutes,
Mhm.
seconds. Now, if a window is sealed up, it takes a lot more time for that to happen. A car stays buoyant longer and so forth. There's a lot more time to panic and maneuver your way, per se, to the back of a vehicle and squeeze yourself up and over the back row into a cargo area. But with windows down, there's not enough time for that to happen.
Well, and I spoke with a spokesperson for the Placer County Sheriff's Office today, and she said they're out of this now. They turned everything over to Nevada County
Hmm.
once the
Hmm.
vehicle was found in Nevada County. So they're no longer investigating, but we're trying to figure out from Nevada County what the status of the investigation is. The autopsy was conducted shortly after you guys found the vehicle. So we should hopefully know more in the coming weeks about that. So, Doug Bishop with Adventures with Purpose, thanks so much again for coming on. We
All right. So that was an interesting podcast. I'm gonna leave the link after I end this live. Go back and listen to the way he answers things or his opinion. I find that interesting. Again, this was just the day after they found her. So this is just a short live to give you that info. You do with it what you will. Thank you for being here, guys. White Rain, Spun That One Girl, Lazon, Tracy, Shan, Crosshatch, Crane Kicks, Ranch Boss, everybody. Yes, White Rain, exactly. So again, do with it what you will. I'm interested to see and read what you guys think in the comments. I'll see you guys soon. Check out the link and listen to it yourselves. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.